Hello everybody, Terry back again with another video. Oh my god, what a match, what a thriller, what a contest we just saw between Carlos Alcaraz, the super talented player from Spain, the 19 years old, against the world number one, the legend Novak Djokovic. What a contest, what a thriller, what a battle. Without the best three-set match in the 2022 season so far, by far. Man, this match had everything. Drama, consistency, thriller, shot making, drop shots, kick serving. You name it, everything. And of course, that kick serving came from Carlos Alcaraz racket, not from Novak Djokovic racket. Man, what a successful kick serve of a match Carlos Alcaraz did, especially from the second set and forward. In the first set, he was serving flat serves, and he saw that with flat serves, Djokovic is returning my serve pretty good, because in the first set, Djokovic was having his teeth into Carlos Alcaraz serving games. Yeah, he broke Carlos' serve only one time in the first set, but Djokovic was coming to 30-40. He was having his teeth. Carlos was not holding his serve comfortably in the first set. But in the second set, Carlos realized, my kick serve on this high altitude is working, especially on the wide serve, especially on the wide serve. He's working really good, so I will just kick serve to Novak Djokovic all the time on the wide serve. And he did, and it paid off. Djokovic had so much troubles returning that serve. He was returning it, but they were landing short, and on the third shot, Carlos were making winners, and that made him big money. It was money, that kick serve that made Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic could not return his kick serve in the second set and forward. And Carlos Alcaraz was holding his serve very, very comfortable in the second set and forward. Compare that in the first set. The match started like it started for Carlos against Nadal. He broke Novak's serve immediately with great shot-making skills. Then Novak broke him back in the middle of the first set, and they went toe-to-toe against each other until the tiebreak. In the first set tiebreak, Novak was the more clear player, was the more consistent player, and won the first set tiebreak 7-5 after he took a lead 6-2. Then Carlos won 3 straight points and made it to 6-5, and then they had a long, brutal rally in that 12th point of the first set tiebreak, and Novak, after a long, brutal rally, won the point and won the first set tiebreak 7-5, and screamed his relief. He was so relieved because he could feel the pressure. He could feel the quality opponent that he had on the other side of the net, because he has never faced Carlos Alcaraz before. We should not forget, this was their first ever match between these two, and he felt it after he won the first set, which took, I think, 1 hour or something. After he won the first set, he felt that, man, this player, he can play tennis. He is really good. I understand why people are hyping him so much now. That was kind of a feeling that Novak got after the first set was over. That's why he was screaming his relief. But Carlos didn't disappear. He started the match with, like I said, he realized that I will kick serve, a lot of kick serve, in Novak against Novak, because this kick serve is so effective on this huge attitude, which Novak said. His kick serve, Novak said that after the match, his kick serve is huge on this high altitude. And Carlos Alcaraz started the second set with holding his serve really good. He was winning games 40-15, 40-love, 40-15, 40-love, until one game in the middle of the second set, where Novak actually, if he would have broken there, he would have won the match straight sets, most likely. Because he had, in one game in the middle of the second set, of 15-40 opportunity and 2 break push opportunities in that game in the middle of the second set to break Carlos' serve. But Carlos, the clutch beast that he is, already 19 years old, and he comes up with the great clutch points. He saved those break punch opportunities in the middle of second set with great shot-making skills. And he came out of jail in the second set, Carlos Alcaraz, and took the match to a tie. And no, he survived in the second set and saved those two break punch opportunities that Novak had in that middle of the second set in that game. And then when Novak was trying to take the second set to a tiebreak once again, like they were in the first, Carlos Alcaraz broke Novak's serve broke Novak's serve for the second time of the match and won that second set 7-5 when Novak was trying to take the second set to a tiebreak. With great shot-making skills from Carlos Alcaraz's racket, and then the match was even 1-1. And then in the third set, to be quite honest with you guys, Carlos Alcaraz was, until the first two sets, the match was really super close, and maybe Novak was the slightly better player. The first two sets, maybe that can be discussed, but maybe. But the third set, Carlos actually was the better player than Novak Djokovic. He really was. He created 5 break punch opportunities in the third set, Carlos Alcaraz. But Novak Djokovic is the clutch beast, the clutch monster, the greatest clutch player of all time, in my opinion, Novak Djokovic. He saved all those 5 break punch opportunities that Carlos Alcaraz had in the third set. Novak himself had only 1 break punch opportunity in the third set, which Carlos saved that only one that Novak had in the third set. But if you look at the third set, it was Carlos actually who was the better player. The first 2 sets, maybe Novak was a slightly better player. But the third set, Carlos was the better player, creating more break punch opportunities and having chances to break Novak's serve in the third set. But all credit to Novak, the clutch Terminator that he is, he saved all those 5 break push opportunities that Carlos had in the third set. And then they took themselves to a tiebreak, where in that tiebreak, it was Carlos Alcaraz who was the more braver player, and that's why he won. Novak Djokovic has tendency, when he loses tennis matches, when the chips are down, when it comes to the smallest margins, he loses because he goes into that goalkeeper mode. I've seen that before. He did the same thing 2 years ago against Dominic Thiem in that ATP Tour Finals London match in semi-final, where also Novak went into the goalkeeper mode against Dominic Thiem and lost that third set tiebreak 7-5, where Novak just was trying not to lose instead of trying to win. And the same thing happened against Carlos Alcaraz in the third set tiebreak. Novak was trying to not lose instead of playing to win. Carlos, the opposite. He played the third set tiebreak to win instead of trying not to lose. That is Novak Djokovic melody. When the chips are down, when it comes to smallest margins, when the margins are laser thin, Novak will not take big cuts on the ball. Novak will not go for the shots. Novak will just go into that goalkeeper mode and try to let his opponent out-hit himself. Dominic Thiem didn't do that 2 years ago in that semi-final in London, in that ATP Tour Finals in London 2 years ago, when Novak lost the third set tiebreak 7-5. Carlos Alcaraz didn't do that as well in this match in Madrid in the semi-final, where Novak tried to let Carlos Alcaraz out-hit himself and win the match, but Carlos Alcaraz never out-hitted himself. Novak did the same thing in that French Open final 7 years ago, 2015, against Stan Wawrinka. After winning the first set, he went in that goalkeeper mode and was trying to let Stan Wawrinka out-hit himself, which Stan Wawrinka never did. So I've seen this movie with Novak Djokovic before, so I'm not surprised. Carlos Alcaraz did 51 winners by tennis fans all around the world. Novak Djokovic only 24, so Carlos Alcaraz does 27 more winners than Novak Djokovic. What does that tell you, guys? Does that tell you? It tells you that the player who went for his shots, the player who took big cuts on the ball, the player who was more braver won the match. He does 27 more winners than Novak Djokovic. Carlos Alcaraz, after the match, said, I don't know what made the difference between us two. I really don't know, because the match was so close, so I don't have any idea what made the difference between us two, because the match could have gone either way. And of course, it could have gone either way, because in the end of the day, Carlos wins the third set tiebreak 7-5. So Novak Djokovic was very close to winning this match. But like I said, Djokovic went in that goalkeeper mode in the third set tiebreak. Djokovic was trying to let Carlos Alcaraz hit himself out. Djokovic was waiting for Carlos Alcaraz to do unforced errors in the third set tiebreak. And that Djokovic paid the price, because that never happened with Carlos Alcaraz in that third set tiebreak. So there you have the answer, Carlos Alcaraz, why you won the match. You went for your shots in the third set tiebreak, and you were the braver player in the third set tiebreak. Compare that with Novak Djokovic, and that's why you won the match. If you want the answer, because he said after the match, I don't know what made the difference between us two, because the match was so close. Man, this was a really great match, great fight. Carlos Alcaraz, if you look at the stats, Carlos Alcaraz, they both served 67% first serves in. Carlos Alcaraz wins 74% behind his points behind his first serve. Novak Djokovic wins 66% points behind his first serve. So Carlos Alcaraz is much more successful winning points behind his first serve, and that has to do because Carlos Alcaraz did a much better job on the serve plus points. He did a much better job than Novak Djokovic, and that's why he won much more points behind first serves than Novak Djokovic, because Carlos Alcaraz was having so much success with that kick serve, and on the third shot, Carlos Alcaraz was ending the point with his forehand or backhand, especially his forehand. No, if you look at the second serve points won, Novak was more successful there with winning 65% points behind the second serve, compared to Carlos Alcaraz, who was winning 51%. And that is not any surprise, because Novak Djokovic will be the stronger player in the long rallies, and when you win much more points behind your second serve than your opponent, that is an indicator that you have been the more successful player in long rallies, which was the case here. When it comes to short rallies, 0 to 4 shots, Carlos Alcaraz was much more successful than Novak Djokovic. When it comes to the longer rallies, over 8-9 shots, it was Djokovic who was the more successful there. So that's why Djokovic won more points behind second serves, with 65% winning points behind second serve, with Carlos with 51% winning points behind second serve. But you know, guys, in tennis, majority of winners, when a player wins a tennis match, the player who wins the shorter rallies, 70% of the times win the tennis matches as well. And that was exactly what happened in this match as well. The player who won the shorter rallies, which was the Carlos Alcaraz here, won in the end the match. Even though the match could have gone either way, but in the end of the day, the player who won the shorter rallies won the match, which was Carlos Alcaraz. And what did he say after the match? He said that the difference between a good player and a top player is who comes up with the best shots in the decisive moments. And it was exactly what Carlos did when he saved himself out from a jail in the second set, when he saved 5 out of 6 breakpunch opportunities against him. That makes 83% in saving breakpunch opportunities against you. Djokovic was not bad himself. He saved 8 out of 10 breakpunch opportunities against him. That makes 80%. So they both were really clutch when the chips were down and when they had the knife under their throat. They both were really clutch. So because Djokovic is the clutchest player of all time, and Carlos Alcaraz, he's showing really great clutchness already as 19 years old, and now becomes the first ever player of defeating both Nadal and Djokovic on clay. That has never happened before, back to back on this practical surface. Now Carlos Alcaraz did that, and becomes the youngest player in 17 years time to defeat the world number one. Last time somebody did that was Rafa Nadal in 2005 when he defeated Roger Federer in that Roland Garros semi-final. So now Carlos Alcaraz becomes 17 years later becomes the youngest player to defeat a world number one. In the end of the day, Carlos Alcaraz wins 134 points. Novak Djokovic wins 131 points in the entire match in total. So Carlos Alcaraz wins only 3 more points than Novak Djokovic. Man, this was a deservedly win for Carlos Alcaraz. I actually picked Carlos to defeat Novak Djokovic, even though that I knew that Novak Djokovic will bring a much bigger challenge to Carlos because he has a much better serve than Nadal, he has a better depth than Nadal, he has better returns than Nadal, and he plays flatter than Nadal. So I knew that Djokovic will be a more challenge for Carlos Alcaraz, because Nadal plays when Nadal loses tennis matches, he tends to play short. He comes up with short balls. He doesn't serve great, and he doesn't hit through his opponent, which happened exactly when Nadal lost against Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinal. I knew that Djokovic will bring better. More challenge to Carlos with all these things that I mentioned, and I knew that Carlos Alcaraz will have tougher times hitting through Novak Djokovic what he had against Nadal, because Carlos Alcaraz will face a completely different ball compared with Nadal, because the ball comes more flatter, the balls come more deeper. He will serve better than Nadal, Djokovic, and Djokovic also will return better than Nadal. So I picked Carlos to defeat Djokovic. All the reasons that Djokovic is not in his shape of his life. He's not, even though that the trajectory is going up for Djokovic. He was in the Belgrade final, and now he went to the semi-final here in Madrid and won his first two matches in straight sets against Monfils and Hubert Hurkacz. So the trajectory is going up for Djokovic. But anyway, I still had that feeling that Carlos Alcaraz is in the shape of his life. It is even though he's 19 years old, and he will most likely will be even only better. That is the scary part with him. He will just only get better and better if he stays healthy and if he stays injury free, which is a crucial thing in this brutal sport, to be healthy and injury free. So even though the trajectory is going up for Novak, I still had the feeling that Carlos Alcaraz, after I saw his level against Nadal, he will come through Djokovic as well, which he did, even though that the margins were laser thin. But in the end, he was the more braver player. He was the more braver player in the third set, and that paid off. And with Djokovic, he was not far away of winning this match, but in the end of the day, he paid the price of not being brave in the third set tiebreak. And I've seen this before. Like I said, he did the same thing against Team 2 years ago in that semi-final in London, in that ATP Tour Finals match in London. He did the same thing 7 years ago against Stan Wawrinka in that French Open final after he won the first set. Then he went in that goalkeeper mode and was just trying to not lose instead of trying to win the match, and was trying to let his opponent out-hit himself. Stan Wawrinka didn't do that 7 years ago in that French Open final. Dominic Thiem didn't do that 2 years ago in that semi-final in ATP Finals in London. And Carlos Alcaraz didn't do that as well in this Madrid semi-final. So, big congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz for playing his second Masters 1000 final in this 2022 season. He won. The better player won in my opinion, especially the third set. He was clearly the better player. The first two sets it was even Steven, but the third set, Carlos Alcaraz was the better player. He like I said in the beginning of the video, he created much more break match opportunities than Novak Djokovic, and he won very, very deservedly the third set tiebreak and won the third set tiebreak 7-5. Now Carlos will face Alexander Zverev. They have faced each other 2 times before. The head-to-head is 2-love to Alexander Zverev, and actually Zverev has defeated Carlos both of those 2 times in straight fashion, easy way. But it is a different kind of player Carlos Alcaraz is nowadays. He's much better now than 1 year ago. Zverev serve is so successful on this high altitude in Madrid. I think Zverev has won this tournament 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. So Zverev is so hard to defeat, and it's a big challenge on this high altitude in Madrid, because his serve becomes so difficult to return and he just wins his service game so easily. Just ask Stefan Tsitsipas, who broke Zverev's serve in the semi-final only 1 time. But you know what? Carlos Alcaraz, he's playing his tennis of his life. His confidence is sky high after beating 2 greatest tennis players of all time in Nadal and Djokovic, because in my opinion Nadal and Djokovic is the 2 greatest tennis players of all time. It is between these 2 decided who will end as the greatest tennis player of all time when it's all said and done. It is not, Federer will not win that race. We all know that. So, and after coming through these two legends, Nadal and Djokovic, I just can't go against Carlos Alcaraz. I think he will come through even Zverev and win against Zverev in 3 sets and win his second Master 1000 title in his young career, Carlos Alcaraz. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace.